Welcome back to another episode of the After Hours podcast. Scooter is here,
I am.
but his camera is not working, so I have been entrusted to do the introduction. So,
You don't get to see that pretty Scooter face all episode.
yeah.
It's very
I know
saddening.
it's been 3 episodes since we
I know,
Scooter.
and I'm
We only get half
debating
Scooter.
listeners. Yeah, you're getting half Scooter. I mean, it's funny because I was trying to figure out the camera stuff, and I was going through some files that were left on the camera, and I found this clip that I must have hit recording when I just woke up. Like this is I think this is like pre-first or just after Vegas the first time, like back in November, December. And there's a clip of me, like my hair is wild, and it's just like I look so tired, and I'm just staring at my screen like a fucking zombie. So I'm gonna post that. Maybe that'll be what I put as my cam. It'll just be,
make that as a GIF and have it looping the entire episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom.
But no, I mean I've been away for a while. Obviously we had we had Vegas, and then we had like a couple of minor scheduling conflicts between the three of us, and it was just everybody busy, and then we're just everybody's stuck in the world of esports. Everybody's constantly busy.
Yeah, especially just with everything that's going on right now, Parabellum, and it's getting towards that end of the year, so it's grind time for sure.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And speaking of, kind of the end time, it's the last play day happening right as we're talking for R6. Obviously not quite the stage we were hoping for. Lots of moving pieces this stage, so we'll have to see what I think next up is going to be probably SI quals, and then depends after that. Like we were talking before the podcast, DreamHack. I think there's rumors that DreamHack's going to do some tourneys. But
dog that's barking, Jake.
You hear that?
Yeah, barely.
It sounds like a phone.
Dude.
It's so muffled, but like,
dude,
Anyway,
it's my neighbors leave their dog outside on a leash, and he'll just sit out there and bark for 30 minutes. So
protest.
I'll just mute and unmute for when it's my turn to talk.
I'll remind you to unmute. Oh man, but yeah, so we R6 obviously not the stage we wanted. The game today is gonna change a few things. I think the max we can get now is 7th or 6th. I know if we it all comes down to the score line of this game. Like if we can end -2 in round differential, then I think we we're the top of the bottom, because I know we have the head-to-head over Exet, who are currently sitting in 6th place. So if we do win this game, then we'll see what happens. I mean, it's a couple more SI points. I don't think we're close enough to get auto called for SI. I don't think even remotely close, if I'm being brutally honest. And then so then we've got closed qualifiers, and that's really it. And if you guys haven't seen, obviously we're gonna plug it anyway. It's a Parabellum podcast. The R6 share bundle is now on in game, which is kind of crazy to see. Like, I think this is my first episode of the podcast. Yeah, honestly, I think this is my first episode of the podcast being able to talk about it openly. So
you've used it? Have you played with it yet?
Yeah, I played a couple of games with I think Jmal. I think we played a couple of games. You, me, Llama, and
I think so. Yeah, I think we played like on release day.
Yeah.
I know I played it for a little bit too. I see Upton's been playing it a lot.
Yeah, Upton's been playing a lot of R6.
Not bad.
It's so funny because he's one of those people that like does the whole I'm gonna do it for 2 weeks and then hops off for like a month and a half and then he'll start it again. So it's funny. Upton's kind of cracked at it.
Yeah, he
plays on controller.
He
plays on controller too, which I think is the impressive part, because there's like 0 aim assist on PC with that.
Yeah, so the R6 bundle, it's in store. You can get it now. You go to launch R6. I think that's the only way you can buy it. I don't think you can buy it on the web.
Yeah, you can launch R6, go to the Esports tab and look for the bundles, and you'll see our pretty logo there.
in black for
Well,
some reason.
and yes, just for a forewarning, since some of us struggled to find it, it is black opposed to red.
which is kind of weird. I don't know why they did that, but whatever. It's
But
in the shop. It looks cool. I may be a little biased, but there's some clean skins. I think it's definitely the top just because it's so unique.
yeah, there's a lot of I saw a lot of the community saying on like Reddit and Twitter, like a lot of the orgs are going the anime route, which is a pretty safe route. Like if you do a good job, a lot of people are going to buy the skin for sure, even if they're not a fan of your team. But I know we were getting a lot of praise for not following the obvious route, which I think we had talked about it originally because you know I'm a sucker for a good anime skin as well, and you know I want to see what Drew could do with that. But it was like ultimately I think it was just like, yeah, let's not do that because like everyone's gonna do that this year, and yeah, everybody did like. But you know, speaking. Sorry, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that was the interesting thing with the skin. I'm excited to see like because like if we do end up getting approved for next year's skin, I want to see what other creative things that we could do with that because I don't know, I think it kind of fits our brand as like a being different as our group
Yeah, and it was
because
definitely a good like
Parabellum as a whole.
it was definitely a good like homage to the original jerseys and stuff and like kind of the first year in R6. Obviously this is our first year in PL and you know we've completed all three we're about to complete all three stages, so it's definitely been a learning of a year. And it's crazy how quick this year's gone. Like this is so off topic, but I'm so mind blown that it's already October. Like that's
In
just
a couple more
scary.
weeks, it's gonna be November, and
Yeah, like
it's only something like 12 weeks till Christmas.
Yeah, feels like just yesterday we were watching the boys play that qualifier. We were going crazy
and
in a
beating
call.
G2 at
Of course, Scooter got to be there in person. Yeah, dude, SI was like what, a year and a half, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, it would have been May 2021.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was delayed, right? Yeah, it was May. Yeah, May 2021 for sure. Yeah. But that's a year and a half ago.
Damn.
Damn, yeah. Insane. That's crazy.
Speaking of insanity.
Yeah, take it away.
Parabellum is finally back in Rocket League. We're not in the bubble scene. We're not in APAC. We're smack dab in the middle of Sam, dude.
Oh man, I've been waiting on this. Noobsie and I have been trying so hard to find the right roster, make everything work out, and just get ourselves a team that we like. It's been so long. Last time we were in, it was end of January?
I think it was the start, yeah. About the
End of
start of the
January,
winter
start of
split,
February.
January, February, with Hilltop Picnic.
So yeah, I couldn't be more excited about that. Getting to watch Rocket League on the weekends where it's my team that I can support and see our logo and our players and all that stuff. Like
it's a different feeling for sure. Like
it really is. I mean,
my God.
Scooter, did you see that clip of my girlfriend?
I did, yeah.
With me. Like that was like, I didn't know that she was recording. I was just literally standing by the TV watching the game, and she just caught it on video.
It's such a different feeling. Like it's one of those things that like even if you have a team that you support, like that isn't the team you work for, it's like fun. But when it's the team you work for and you put a lot of work into and a lot of heart and soul, it's like it's just a new level. Like
I think it's fun for us as well, even more fun for like it's fun for you because you work for Parabellum, Scooter. But I think it feels so much more different to us because we have spent so much time researching and scouting and we know these players are good, and it's like, oh, now they're signed for us and now they're supporting our logo, and it's like, the whole team is cracked. Davasano and Trula and Leo, they're all just they have the results. Trula has the least experience because he's so young. I think he just
16 turned 16 the other day.
16 the other day, but he just barely became eligible towards the beginning of last RLCS. So he's had not as much time to get us caught up as players like Davasano and Leo and all them that have a little bit more experience. So I'm excited. They're a little bit newer when it comes to like togetherness, but They played amazing this weekend,
Yeah, they
and
played Saturday. They fell just short by one series. Played great. Went to a lot of game fives, but once they were able to clean it up, like they were killing overtimes. Like they stayed controlled. But yeah, just barely fell short on Saturday, and then on Sunday, statement play day, 3-0
I think
each
you could tell
series.
on Saturday that was nerves. I think it
Yeah.
was just once they settled down in some of these games, like they looked really good. It was just some things didn't go their way. Like during the crew match, that game should have there was some games that it should have been like 12-2
Mhm.
in favor of Parabellum because we were just ripping shots and it was just so off the net or like hitting up top or a person was able to get there. And it was like, a couple of those bounces go the other way. I think we wouldn't have had to play Sunday. But they kept that mental up, and shout out to Alter and for the coaching and all the boys that literally hopped off that game Saturday and just hit video review. They took a little break, but then they hit video review all night and pointed out, what did we mess up? What did we do better? And then Sunday just didn't drop a single game. There was only one game they played where they had less than 3 goals, and it was 2-0. So
Yeah, absolute
absolutely
statement
statement.
games from them. That was so fun to watch.
And it's so like obviously I've probably said this a bajillion times when we've been recording, but I'm not a Rocket League person, not really, and it's like, but it's so easy to watch, and it's like you can get into it, and like I said a minute ago, like when it's the team that you root for, regardless of the game, it's even better, and it's like watching RL is so easy, and it's like I'm surprised, like you know why it gets the numbers it does when like Worlds is on and stuff, because it is so it's a game that you could anybody, even if you don't understand it, can be on the edge of their seat, which I think is what's so great about
it's
that.
so easy to follow. It's so fast paced. So like you don't have to set like with a Valorant or CS:GO that can go to 26 plus rounds.
And there's a lot of
It's
dead time too, because then
yeah,
they're buying weapons, and then there's the setup
yeah.
before the initial gunfight,
Rocket
and it's
League,
like
5 minutes, boom, game done.
I mean, there
30
was
seconds to a
some
minute in between, 5 minutes, boom, game done. I
what
mean,
was it,
bars some
Saturday?
overtimes, but
Saturday, there was one match where we literally won, and we went to break, and then came back 5 seconds later and was like,
mm,
"Alright, our next match is about to
yeah,
start."
next
And
series
I was
was
like,
right
"Dang."
after.
It's like and then the games, you got 30 seconds in between to take a
Mm.
rest, and then and
So
normally
fast paced, it's
yeah,
energetic because casters are like shout out Tanker and shout out Seeger.
dude.
They killed it on the casting this weekend. It was so nice to hear their voices on that.
Yeah.
But like with any casting in Rocket League, it's always like high momentum, like high energy. They're yelling, they're getting excited. And it's an easy way to be on the edge of your seat, like you said, Scooter.
Yeah, and I mean, so I guess our next goal is going to be getting our RL skin.
We're gonna try. I think
Was that an intentional pun?
Wait, what?
Our next goal.
Oh no, it wasn't. But hey, I'll roll with that.
yeah, thank you,
That's
dude.
I rolled my eyes when you said that. I was like, oh man.
Hey,
No,
I'll take an unintentional.
I think it's a possibility because, other than Crew and Team Secret, we're technically the third biggest org in SAM.
I think it'll be down the line at some point.
Yeah.
But for the foreseeable future, no, because they just released the esports shop today, I think.
No, I
Like the
think it was
updated.
the update. Yeah,
Yeah, the
it came out
updated
today or
esports
last
shop
night.
was
Yeah.
today.
But speaking of Rocket League and kind of interesting things happening inside of it, outside of the actual game, Noobsie brought this to my attention: Oxygen and Gel Blaster. You wanna break that down for us a little?
I thought it was cool. So that's their partner. I don't know if it's a title sponsor, but I know it's actually on their decal. So, did you just get flashbang, Jake?
No, I was pulling it up the link that you sent about that, and it's
So
very
yeah,
bright.
so that's actually, and that's the cool thing for people who don't know. That's actually something that is, I think, very that doesn't happen in video games ever. But for decals in Rocket League on the away skins, I think now actually on the home skins too, you can have a sponsor on the side. So like with G2, their side is Adidas. or I think what was it? Guild had Subway and stuff. Like FaZe has Nissan. Like,
I know
and
somebody had Steel Series for sure on one of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was
Version
Pittsburgh.
1? Oh
Pittsburgh,
yeah,
man.
I think it might be Pittsburgh, yeah.
So I think that's such a cool way to add revenue because a lot of these smaller teams, like teams like Kansas City Pioneers, that that are smaller, they're in OCE. They can pitch that to brands and be like, hey, this game's played by millions of players, and your logo can go right here, right on the
Permanently.
side, where everyone can see it. And once you buy it, it's there forever. And it creates so much more. And the skins are, it's I think for the whole pack, it's about as much as you would get for a Rainbow Six skin. So
Yeah,
it's just like,
it's pretty standard. Like most in-game
but
cosmetics are
and
what,
it's
$5
yeah, and
ish.
it's
Yeah.
cheaper, but it's like more people, they're gonna buy the whole bundle, which is like
Mhm.
20 bucks, because you can justify getting 9 skins for 20 bucks. That's just over $2 a skin, I think. So
Mhm.
it's like that's more people will buy the whole bundle, and then boom, you just made yourself 20 bucks, and then and then you can
Yeah.
pitch it to the sponsors and whatever. Just it creates revenue, and I
Yeah.
think it's amazing. And
Uh,
we're seeing more. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I said, like, big ups to Psionics for that because I mean, you don't see that very
No,
often.
that's
It's
I
a
think that's the
great
only
way
time
to
I've seen
support
it.
the organizations that help the esports thrive.
I do have to play devil's advocate a little bit. How long do you think until we see like a form of sponsor that gets their like skin, like gets put on a skin, and like Psionics has to turn around and be like, okay, well we're removing this, whether it's because of controversy or like, and even if it's an older skin, do you think that'll ever happen or?
It would have to depend on, I think, like, because they go through really rigorous process on
Yeah.
already what is allowed on not just what's allowed on the skin, but what the skin's allowed to look like. Um, like I was honestly, they were a little lax because isn't the G2 one like rainbow and vibrant,
Yeah.
and it's just like
Mhm.
nothing that it's not like they just weren't allowing as many colors before. It was like I think you had like a traditional, you only had
Mhm.
2 colors, maybe a third if it was a certain design. It was very strict, and then this season, they kinda just let people go a
Yeah.
little bit, so it's
Which
possible. I think it would have to be something pretty bad, but they already, filter pretty good when it comes to
mhm.
what's on the car and then what the car looks like, so
Yeah.
I'd imagine the only way that would happen is if like some company fell over with major controversy.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Then
kind
it
of
would
what
be,
I'm thinking as well. Like
yeah.
it would have to be like I mean, even so the situation in my head, I'm thinking of like artesian PCs or artesian builds.
Oh yeah.
But then again, I don't even think that's big enough that they would remove it. Like I think
Yeah.
what you said, I think would have to be something massive, like a company actually doing wrong,
yeah.
for
Unless there
them
was
to
like,
revisit a skin. Like
I guess maybe like an outcry from community for
yeah,
something like that, or like
And
an
even
org
so,
saying,
they probably just
"Hey, like,
they get sent the file, like, they get sent, like, a PNG template with all the assets on it. They could probably just wipe the logo off of it or ask them to
that's what I
send it
imagine they would
without the
do. Yeah.
logo.
put it in like some sort
Yeah,
of bug fix where they take the
yeah,
skin from you for a couple days, modify it, inject the
and
Yeah.
new
then put it
one,
back.
give it back to people who had it."
Yeah,
But
I imagine they would.
I do like the fact because I think out of honestly, I think a vast majority of the brands in this on the skins are non-endemic. So they have nothing to do with esports.
Mhm.
I think that's awesome. I think that's
Well,
really cool to
yeah, like
kind
Torrent had
of
a cool one last year. They had Mall of America because they're
yeah.
located just around that area.
So I was just like, I thought that was really sick because it just shows how mainstream it's becoming to where you can have Adidas, you can have Nissan, you can have these huge brands that are partnering with a car soccer game. And yeah, we're the first one to, Rocket League's the first one to kind of incorporate live sponsors on these decals, but like I could see it coming up in the future that like maybe in the future you could see one appear on possibly a Call of Duty skin or maybe
Yeah.
like some of these other big games. Like I could truly see something happening because they're like, okay, this works. This works.
Well,
For
it's funny how it's gone. It's kind of gone full circle because back in the day, CS 1.6 used to have some, like, you used to be able to have custom skins, and like certain tournaments would allow them. So certain orgs and teams would rock sponsors on the back of their player model. And then I know we saw it because you touched on Call of Duty. Call of Duty had it for like what, a couple of months? Didn't they have like back pieces that had the logos on it for like, because there was a huge article about it, and it was something about the CDL allowing it.
I think it was something. I think it was one of the jump pack games. You think? If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. It was one of the games where you could.
But
boost
yeah,
your
then
jump pack.
like even between, obviously CS 1.6 is a while ago now, but it's like we didn't see it much in other games. Then Call of Duty had tried it for a while recently, and it didn't work. And then now we're back again, but we're doing it properly. And like the thing with the RL cars and stuff is that obviously sponsors get jersey placement too. Like obviously look at Jake's camera. He's got Shakepay and Compete up at the top. And so jerseys get a lot of screen time, and that's good. But cars, the amount of screen time cars are getting,
So much more.
that one sponsor, sure, they're gonna have to pay a lot more, probably.
Well, that's
Just
something
assuming,
that
but
like hypothetically, if we were to have a decal Parabellum, I could literally approach a brand and be like, yes, so we weren't playing in a major, we weren't playing on a LAN, but our cars were on screen for 6.5 hours throughout the
yeah,
weekend. That's about a minimum of what's going to be on the screen. If you play,
and
you know,
3 times
Friday,
if all players
Saturday,
rock the skin, like
yes. So you have across 2 days, you have about 6 hours of your logo being on the side. When they win, the car is literally sitting like this, so you can see it, and it's just like that. It
even the
appeals
cinematic
to
shots,
brands.
like
Yeah.
so yeah, because and that's the other thing you approach them with as well. You say like, look, you got 6 hours on screen, and you're gonna get like our highlights, because it's gonna be one, you're gonna be the title sponsor for our like our content probably, and then the cars are going to be in that video as well, and any community made montages, Rocket League
Gonna have it's gonna have
videos.
the car in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that doesn't even include the active always in the game. Like
exactly.
when there's
Yeah,
not live, like
Yeah, just players playing it.
yeah. The
when they're
average
playing.
Joe's
over,
seeing it.
yeah, the over what 1 million concurrent players.
Yeah, it's just like for brands, it's a no-brainer, and the game is perfect. You don't have to like. Well, I'm saying perfect as in like the perfect brandable game. There's no guns. There's no violence. The only explosion is when you hit another car. Like it's quick. It's
Yeah.
fast paced. A ton of people watch it. Like it's a safe game to promote.
And even if there was
So.
explosions, the lore is literally eggs, so
Yeah,
not
So.
humans. That I do
Well,
know. I think Jake taught me.
Yeah, I think I
that's
taught
a
you
huge
that
win.
when I was streaming one time,
Yeah, I think so.
because Scooter like redeemed the like designed my car, and I was scrolling through the toppers from the pig. He's like, "Why are there so many eggs?" And I'm like, "Because in the lore, the people are eggs." And then like I backed out. I was like, "Look in the background. Look at the stands. There's
And I was
just
like,
thousands
what the
of eggs
hell?
hopping up and down."
What the hell even is that?
So, RL and all that they're doing is a huge W. So, let's talk about a huge L.
Yeah, there's been a big one this week.
So you guys take it away.
Yeah, so obviously we are all in the streaming space to some extent, whether it's an org stream, esports stream, or even streams or content that we watch in our off time. And I'm sure unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard that TwitchCon was this past weekend. And TwitchCon, it's obviously what it sounds like. It's a huge convention for Twitch, and there's streamers, there's booths, there's merch, there's fun stuff, there's fun activities for viewers. You get to meet and greet your favorite people, and there's events for the streamers themselves. And one huge fail from Lenovo or Twitch is they're passing the blame back and forth. Was Lenovo's foam pit. They were doing a stream for streamers to come battle each other. They were kind of shoutcasting it, like commentating it as well. And it came down to two streamers' turns, and one of the streamers won, aka Adriana. So she decided to do a cannonball into the foam pit. And have you guys seen the video?
She broke her back, didn't she? She
broke her back in two places.
In two places.
And that video is painful to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It is so painful to watch. I mean, I'm sure both of you have had those times where, like, whether you're a kid or, you know, even an adult just doing something stupid, if you land on your ass and hit your tailbone, the amount of wind you feel it. The amount of wind that's knocked out of you and just the sheer pain hurts alone. The fact that on top of that, she broke her back in two places. Jesus Christ. Like,
well, it's one of those things, like, if that was that could literally have been millimeters of difference between her getting paralyzed or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when it comes to your back, like that, those little tiny things can literally make or break you. You could not walk again.
That's life changing,
right? You could not feel things in your hands. Like, the back is not anything to mess with. And I don't understand that. You know, I'm sure they probably put some sort of padding down, but for them to just think like, oh, it's a foam pit, it's fine. It's like, okay, well, it's just the stuff's got to go somewhere. So if I'm jumping, they should have elevated it, put a ton of padding underneath it.
Yeah,
should have been
was reading into it
a little bit.
So I guess it's just literally like a pit with a handful of layers of foam blocks. That's nothing. That's not a legal foam pit per se. Like, say if you go to like some sort of party, like amusement park type place, and they have one, what they do is it's boxed in, and at the bottom it's like a spring-like trampoline base, and then it's filled very deep,
like 4 feet deep.
Yeah, like, that one is just concrete at the bottom.
Yeah.
So
and it was only 2 feet deep, like the Twitch.
Even if it's foam, like a foam cubes, those aren't like Tempur-Pedic. They don't compress. Like, they're soft, but you know, they're not hollow or anything. When you hit that, there's nothing to brace your fall. Like, nothing absorbs the shock. So I think that was just ignorant for them to just fill up.
Yeah, and that's
2 foot pit.
The thing about ignorance as well is that people are always like, there's a lot of people saying, oh, well, she signed a waiver, and it's
doesn't matter.
Yeah, waivers don't matter if the thing was never safe to begin with. Like, if if the company, aka Lenovo, or whoever set this up for Lenovo, they were arrogant and they didn't make sure it was safe to begin with. There is nothing. I can guarantee you that waiver doesn't say don't fall in the pit. That's the whole point of the thing. You're supposed to fall into it because you're intentionally trying to knock the other person into the pit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even people were saying, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was going to say the incels of Twitter were just going off on her like, well, you're not supposed to jump in a foam pit like that. It's a foam pit. You can jump in it any way you want because it's supposed to be foam.
It's supposed to be safe. Like, and
tune in next week where we fill a pool full of concrete for the diving contest.
We take all the water out of the pool
that way. Put concrete in it. Well, you're not supposed to jump in.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if anybody's ever been to like Sky Zone. It's like a trampoline park.
Yeah.
But like, I went there a couple times when I was younger, and like, they have a trampoline where you literally jump off the trampoline, you do like a flip into the foam pit. It's like, you could dive head first.
Yeah,
you can dive head first in that from 5 feet up in the air. You're fine.
Yeah, and it's funny because like there's so many people online too that were giving suggestions of literally like very cost effective ways that they could have made that pit safer. And literally somebody was like, get a bunch of old mattresses and put them at the bottom of it, like, so it's not concrete. Even if it's only 2 feet deep, those mattresses would have made a difference. Like, anything at the bottom would have made a difference. Like, just not concrete.
Something to absorb shock.
Yeah, like,
and she wasn't the only one. There was at least
four in total.
Yeah. Well, there was more because I saw the tweet that Jake Lucky put out was, I don't know if he like was talking to a lawyer or something, but he was like, hey, if you jumped into the Lenovo foam pit and hurt yourself, DM me. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's good because there were a bunch of people that got injured by it. A ton of people left the event like in wheelchairs.
I think 4 were hospitalized, but a lot of them got bruises and, like,
Yeah.
twisted shit, like, it's just stupid, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just never. I mean, it's funny as well seeing the like PR side of it because I know a lot of people have reached out to Twitch for comment, and Twitch is like, nope, not our problem. It's Lenovo's, and it's like, motherfucker,
Like, it's your event.
It's
you're
your
running
event.
the event center. Like, you're responsible for anything that happens at your event.
Exactly, and it's very strange. And if you guys are good to move on to the next topic, I got something even stranger to talk about.
Let's hear it.
Shit, okay.
So I'm probably maybe a little bit of a hot take, but I think everybody's kind of question marking it right now. Sentinels announced today that they are building their roster, their Valorant VCT roster, purely off of TENZ.
That never was gonna work.
I did not see that, but I'm not entirely surprised by it.
So I'm not either. Only reason is because, like, one, he is super marketable and he is a good player and he's super young. But the thing is, the last VCT and like all you know, before it, all the I keep wanting to say merchandising. I don't know why I want to say merchandising. The creation of the league. My brain is that fried right now. But and it's like, okay, he didn't do great. He's not a bad player by any means. Is he living up to expectations? No, probably not. But he can. That's the thing. But building a roster off of him, I think it's the other way around. You build a roster and you add him and make them work around it. Like,
so when it comes to, and this is just in anything, you cannot build a roster around one player and expect it to work. That's, in my opinion, that might be a hot take, but whatever, there's probably some instances where you can put any player on a team and put that, as long as you have good pieces around them, they're gonna do good. But it's just, you see so many teams in actual sports. Like, one team that I'm gonna bring up is my favorite hockey team, the Washington Capitals. Very early on, they had Alex Ovechkin, this super talent, and he loved playing with Russians. So over the years, it has been almost all Russians, but now they have pigeonholed themselves into this. All of these people are older like him, so they have the highest, one of the highest average ages in the NHL, but they're still trying to build pieces around him. And it's like, yes, he's great. Yes, he's probably going to catch Wayne Gretzky for the goals list, but now you need that young talent. You need to mix stuff up. You've spent the past 16 seasons building around one player, and you've only gotten one championship out of it. Yeah, you're good, but you're not good when it matters. When you need depth, you don't need 10 old guys. You need a bunch of young talent. And that's the thing in esports. You cannot build, because talent moves all over the place. You cannot build around a roster. Sports has the luxury of, you can extend these 8, 9, 10-year contracts, 5 to 10-year contracts. But in esports, players could be on the team for 6 months, maybe a year. A year is a long time in esports considered.
Well, considering sports too has like esports has it as well, but sports has a bigger one. Regular sports has a bench, and a bench that they can afford to keep people on. Esports, no way. I mean, usually you can keep one person on a bench if you really want to keep them, but no. And it's funny because people will sit there and say, like, this TENZ thing is a good idea, and it's like, maybe, and if it works out,
it might work. Might work.
I was gonna say my side of that, because I do agree that, like, you can't just build around one guy, but if you are to do it, especially in Valorant, it's probably him, only because he's not entirely a one-trick pony, but, like, he's not very versatile in his agent selection and, like, roles he can play.
Yeah.
So. And he's too talented of a player to not be playing in, like, VCT franchising. So if they want to keep him, that's probably the best route to do so. And there's going to be lots of players who will probably want to play with him that can grow their name even more playing alongside him. But yeah, you have to be really careful with how you do it if you're doing something like that, and really particular about how you go about it.
I don't watch a lot of Valorant. but there could be, you guys said, how young is TENZ? I don't really keep up with Valorant at all.
20, 21.
Yeah,
Okay,
2021.
so
Yeah.
pretty young considering the Valorant scene, right? So what if you build this team around him? Not saying that he will, but what if you get the wrong person to build around and he becomes an asshole, has an ego, gets an attitude?
Well,
How do you do that? Because that has destroyed teams
Yeah.
before.
I don't
You build
think
around the
they have a
wrong
worry
player.
for that though, because
Yeah, no,
they
but I'm
Yeah.
just saying that's the other inverse of like, okay, so we build around this guy, and a year later, after maybe this has worked out, you know, you get this big ego, and now it's just like now you
Yeah.
can't build around him.
I mean, that's going on in soccer right now at PSG. Mbappe signed a
Well, yeah.
massive deal, biggest
Now he
one
wants
ever.
out.
And, you can't really tell what was actually promised to him outside of the money. Like there were rumors of what he got, but he's a very fluid, like versatile player. He can play on the left, right, up the middle, and he wants to play up the middle. Like that's it. And his form, like the way they play is they have to push him out wide and then like move back in. He's like, no, I just want to play in the middle. And they're like, well, you're not the coach.
That's where
and he's
Messi goes.
He's like, well, then I want to leave. Like I want out.
Yeah. So then, yeah, and it was just like 4 years ago when he wasn't the talk of everything. That wouldn't probably wouldn't have been an issue for him.
Mhm.
But he spent 4 years being the guy you're building the team around, and now he's an issue. So
Well, he was supposed to leave, but yeah, never mind. That's off topic. I'm not going to go into that more.
So now that will that probably happen with TENZ? Maybe not, but that's the other inverse of building around one player. Is what if that one player becomes the problem?
Yeah. And I think he's older now. Obviously, back a couple of years ago, there was the problem of he was getting locked. TENZ was getting locked into like Counter-Strike contracts that he just couldn't get out of because people wanted to build around him, and then like whether he just didn't perform, he didn't want to play anymore, or whatever. Then he had those situations where he has to ride the bench, and he's got to be careful what he signs for Sentinels, because if they're building this roster around him, he could sign a real lengthy one. And
then you're locked in.
Yeah, then you're locked in and you're bench warming, because Sentinels are, unless they get a really good offer, they're not gonna let him go to another team while they're trying to qualify or take first place. Like
the amount of money they paid C9 for him.
Yeah, especially in franchising.
I think that has to partially do with it. Like they want to keep trying to return as much as they can off that investment.
Yeah, and I think I will like kind of throw a but if situation where this could just be a PR thing. Like they might not actually be doing it, but they know, like obviously like there's the whole meme where it's like I heckin' love TENZ, like, and it's like, okay, well it could just be, pleasing the social media and like, Twitter, memeing with Twitter a little bit. So they may not actually be building, but from the sounds of it and the reports of it, they are. I mean, if they tweet that, I have to go off their word. But it could just be a PR thing.
Yep.
But I mean, I think that's pretty much it for that topic. You guys got anything else you want to throw in before we kind of call it?
This weekend, when does this go out? Tomorrow?
Yeah, it should be tomorrow, the 13th.
Okay. Friday, 3 p.m. EST on the Parabellum Twitch. Seeger and Tankert back at it again, casting our Swiss. There is a chance that RLCS is going to be popping around to some of the matches. We win one and we're in the winner's bracket. They're probably going to want to watch that. So there's a chance that not only will we be on our page, but RLCS will probably get our game, at least one of our games, I think. If we do well, they'll probably get at least one. And then if we make it out of Swiss, all day Saturday is going to be RLCS. So, stay tuned to the Twitter. We'll keep you guys posted on socials, with Jake at the buttons. Not going to be any Gertler incidents where I accidentally tweet a picture of a man with, Go-Gurt body to the Atlanta Gladiators.
It'd be funny if for some reason I did put a Gertler tweet out. It'd be very odd.
Dude, these guys are goated like Gertler. Just put that.
Photoshop.
Anyway, so
yeah, face.
Friday, 3 p.m. EST. Seeger and Tank are back on the desk, actually lighting it up with their electrical commentary. So it's gonna be exciting stuff. That's all I got.
Sounds good. Well, yeah, I
think that pretty much covers.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, I mean, so yeah, you guys will see this on the 13th, right before Friday. And then I think that's it. So we will see you guys next week, probably the same Thursday. We were kind of playing around with the schedule a little bit right now, but it should be Thursday again next week. And we'll catch you, after next office hours.
Thursday.